Okay, am I streaming? I'm using OBS, never have before. Let me double check real quick and make sure that it's working. Let's go to my page on my phone. Today is nothing controversial, by the way. I am live right now. Wow, is it showing up? Wow, it's showing up. Okay, so congrats to me. I know how to use OBS to stream. Y'all, this is not controversial at all. I am a very small channel and I'm not talking about something controversial, so I expect one view on this video. But I thought, let me just get back in the habit of posting and streaming and doing all of that stuff. This is Clarke Peoples. She's an influencer and I love her to the point that I am living vicariously through her. You know, when you were a kid, especially if you're a girl, and you envisioned what will your life be like and who will you be like and what will you look like when you're 20? Clarke Peoples is it. I envisioned myself being this beautiful, intelligent, got accepted into Ivy League program, posting content online, vlogging, blogging. I thought I was going to be everything that Clarke Peoples is. So I wanted to just like watch his interview to get to know her better and also like reminisce on the things that I like, how I relate to her, and also why I think I never accomplished a level that she's at. Because, mind you, I did pretty well for myself, but having ADHD, having depression, being socially awkward, having trauma, all of these things absolutely hindered my ability to achieve the things that she did at a young age. So, anyway, I was going to watch this and comment on it like to myself and to my husband, but I thought, okay, why not just make a video out of it? So, come with me to learn more about Clarke Peoples.
Clarke Peoples, welcome to Pretty Smart.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
You are so pretty smart. I'm so happy that you're here. I was reading about you, and you said that at 12 years old, you had this vision for who you wanted to become. And I'm wondering when you conjured up this big life, this vision in your mind.
Yeah, that's like such a great question. I just made that video recently talking.
Also, yeah, I've, when I was 12 and even younger, probably by the time I was 8 or 9, I was already envisioning what type of life and lifestyle that I wanted to live. So I didn't know that's like not normal. I didn't know other kids didn't think like that.
About this. I think when I was 12, so I want to say one of my teachers had an exercise that was like create a vision board for some purpose, and it was my history teacher, and I was sort of becoming very interested in politics and government at that time, and so I made the vision board, but I sort of went a step further and I like wrote out, okay, I want to be like Michelle Obama. So I at first actually wanted to go to Princeton undergrad, then I wanted to go to Harvard Law School, and I had like written it all out, what I had to do in high school to get there, what I was going to do in college to get to law school, and just like the entire thing. I had my husband's like guys that I might want to marry, like Morris Chestnut was on there, like Eddie Cibrian or something.
Great choices.
Right?
Yeah.
And then sorority I was going to pledge, like I really laid everything out.
Yeah, I had that too, except I didn't know about sorority. So I am a first generation. Actually, yeah, I am first generation. I'm an immigrant. I'm an immigrant and I'm a naturalized citizen to the United States. So the concept of sororities, fraternities did not exist. Had no idea what that was. I learned what that was second semester of my freshman year. I wish in my school had a like it had a program for first time. I was a first generation college student, right? Like I'm the first in my family to attend college in the United States. My school had that program and I didn't think that applied to me. I thought, oh, that's just like, I don't know, for kids who are poor or something, or like you're trying to get DACA, like you're not a US citizen or something. I don't know. I had some concept in my head. And now I wish I took advantage of that because there was a lot of the cultural things in college that I didn't understand until I couldn't no longer participate.
And I think I just knew I wanted, I don't know, I would see people on TV, or like Scandal was very popular. I'm like, I want to have a super like high powered career. I want to be a lawyer or like something in politics, a lobbyist maybe. And like, I know I've got to start working now.
I wish a show like Scandal came out when I was young. Like, if a show like Scandal came out when I was 13, I hate when people say representation doesn't matter. You don't need to just have people of color or women in these different roles. Yes, you do, because it absolutely does shape how people who identify with that think. Like, it impacts what you believe you can do, what you envision yourself doing. And had I grown up with a show like Scandal, I would more readily envision myself as a lawyer. I contemplated law school, but I feel like I there's a higher likelihood I would have gone to law school had I seen that kind of representation.
Now to get there, and I put it to work.
Olivia Pope inspired you.
Exactly, Olivia Pope and Michelle Obama, for sure.
You were really intentional about your choices. You didn't date in high school. You didn't drink. You were an exceptional student. And I feel like a lot of people would think that your parents guided you towards that, but you said that this was really coming from you.
Yeah, no. So my mom and I have always been super close, and I think
Yeah, I also exact same. I didn't drink, didn't party, didn't have boyfriends, didn't do any of that. And it's not like my parents didn't say I can never have a boyfriend, but um like it was just awkward. I can't imagine bringing especially an American boyfriend to my Nigerian parents while I'm still in school. Like, yeah, it was definitely like focus on your studies. But that didn't bother me. First of all, I wasn't attracted to any of the boys. I wasn't attracted to the boys. And for a long time I thought maybe there's something wrong with me. Why do I not have a crush on any guy? Eventually I did, like last semester of my senior year. Got a huge crush. But like what my parents wanted, so they did guide me towards that, but what they wanted I agreed with. Like, it made complete sense and I had no qualms with it. Drinking and partying with high schoolers, it did not appeal to me. I just felt like if I'm going to be drinking and partying, wouldn't I rather do that with like people who are rich? So like the party is like actually lit. Like, there's nothing about partying with high schoolers that that just doesn't appeal to me. Never did. Still doesn't.
think one thing I always talk about is we used to watch so many movies together. So like Something's Gotta Give was a favorite, and I'm like 12 years old watching Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson in this movie, and I feel like so many things that I saw, like I would see different relationships play out on TV and Sex and the City movies, whatever, and we would always talk about it.
Yeah.
And so
That's
she
such a
never
good
really had to
idea.
tell me, okay, don't
When I have kids, we're so doing that. Oh my gosh, if I have a kid who loves those, like, is Sex in the I can say Sex in the City. Is Sex in the City a rom-com? Anyway, I think that's such a great idea to like watch things with your kids and discuss afterwards. I think that's so key.
do this, you can't do that. I don't think I ever really had any rules, even a curfew when I was in high school. But because we would look at other people's lives and kind of try to take lessons from them, even if it's just in art, of course, like art imitates life and reality. And so, I don't know, I just sort of learned some lessons, I think, from there without having to experience it personally myself, and sort of talk through with my mom before I ever got to that point. And so, yeah, I just pretty
I
self-guided
really
in,
love that.
in that.
I really love that.
Seems like there's a lot of sacrifice involved in that too. Like when you look back on that girl from high school, how do you feel about her?
Yeah, and I have never really thought about it in like a sacrificial sort of way, until someone actually commented that. I think maybe someone posted my video on Twitter and they were like, seems like you really sacrificed a lot. And I definitely did, but it never felt like I was lacking anything or missing out on experiences.
Yeah, like I said, like there is nothing appealing about high school parties. Like, one could say, wow, you sacrificed doing that crazy stuff as a teenager, but I didn't sacrifice it because it's what is appealing about it. Like, that's not a fun time. It's just not fun to me. It like didn't make sense to me. It was just like, You guys have nothing else to do. You're bored. You have no future. You don't give a damn about your future. Like it literally could not compute why you would want to do that. So I had no desire to, so I didn't do it. And I also was in the IB program. So there wasn't many of us who were doing that anyway. So
Is because I don't know, for me, I love the experience of like going to my mock trial practices and being student body president and like doing homecoming stuff. The drinking and dating and all of that didn't seem like something I was missing because I knew I had my whole life to do it. But
yeah, maybe she and I probably have the same thought of like drinking and dating and all of that stuff in high school just seems not cool. Like I would rather do that when I'm older and I'm interacting with people who have money for it to be a baller experience.
but I did certainly forego a lot of maybe the things that people consider like fun or just like being young and carefree and making like kind of dumb decisions. But I don't know. I think that the outcome has been great. Now I can make the dumb decisions and like I have income to fall back on and like a degree to fall back on, lots of things. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm very proud of my high school self. I wish that sometimes I could ask her questions because I feel like she was even more disciplined than I am today.
Wow.
For sure.
That is so true. I feel like the high school version of me was more focused, more disciplined, had more willpower than the older version of me. Like for real, as I get older, I it feels like I am unable to tolerate stress and high like deadlines and high performance environments like I could when I was a teenager. Oh boy, like yeah, sometimes I want to go back and ask her for advice, but also the thing is like when I was a teenager, there were paths set before me. Like you could go down this path, you can go down this path, you can go down this path. There were institutions that were supportive of it, like school, right? There's a system, and I can figure out the system and achieve within the system to get to the next level. Like there was a path set before me. And after you graduate and you have your degrees and you're into your career, now you're into life and there's no more rules. There are no rules. There are no more rules. And you make up the rules. And when you make up your rules, you know, I'm just not as disciplined because life can be whatever I want it to be.
It's interesting. I felt very similar to you. I really resonated with your video.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard a lot of people talk about that. I do feel a little bit like I sacrificed. Like I didn't go to like basketball games or like certain things my friends would go to at like 7 o'clock because I was studying or writing a paper. But now I'm so grateful for that.
Exactly.
Here's what I think is interesting. If you go online, everybody thinks you grew up super wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They do.
And you
did think
didn't.
she did.
I did not. And I think part of that is my mom's ex-boyfriend, who I always call my stepdad. He's a fashion designer. But when he was dating my mom, which would have been, God, I think they probably met 16 or 17 years ago. We did not have any, like he's written an entire book now about how he like had to file for bankruptcy and owed the IRS so much money. And we had like, when we first moved to Atlanta, 2-bedroom apartment with 7 people in it, like 1 bathroom. And eventually, obviously we had larger space or whatever, but at no point were we like wealthy or even, I don't know if I would even say like totally middle class. Like we had food stamps, like I don't know. I never felt like I wanted for anything because I just wanted stuff for school or whatever, but no, definitely did not grow up with a ton of money.
Why do you think
that's
people think that of
interesting.
you now?
I think it's hard for people to accept that like young women are able to accomplish things on their own because I also
Yeah, I definitely thought that she was raised into like at least an upper middle class family because she seemed so comfortable there. She had expectations of herself and of people around her that, and even like when she shows herself with her mom, the things that they're doing together, I very much thought, oh, this is what they're both used to. So I thought she grew up in that. Um, so it's interesting to me because I feel like her mom does well for herself now. And obviously her stepdad also does well for himself. So it's kind of like you all did this come up together. Um, it's just interesting.
Also get like the sugar baby thing all the time, like, oh, she has to be an escort or a sugar baby. Like,
Okay, Clarke, people thought she was a sugar baby because what made her go viral was she was going on dates with wealthy men. Okay. And every few days, she would upload a new video. What I'm wearing to my date with this rich man. This man is in real estate. This man's in oil. This man's in golf. She's always showing what she's doing with these different rich suitors. So yeah, of course, you're gonna get those accusations. You're gonna get those accusations. And then she made a video that's like, you guys, I'm not sleeping with these men. And of course, people don't believe it because why would a man go out on multiple dates? These are not like first date, first date, first dates. They were like, this is date number 5. This is date number 7. And it's like, you're not going out. You're not in a relationship with any of them. And people assume you have to be sleeping with them. Because I also, by date 7, we're a thing. By date 7, we're a thing. But also, I just thought there are some wealthy men who just like the company of a woman. That's also a type of escort. So I definitely understand why people thought that. And she's not including that part in the story.
there's no way she's making money on her own. And that's actually how I started making content. My first video that I made blew up, had millions of views overnight, and people were like, she has to be an escort. Like, she's a sugar baby. That's the only way she can have this apartment. So I was like, whoa, I was starting a legal internship in 2 days. And so I was like, no, I have to set the record straight. So I made another video like, you guys, I got the Gates Scholarship and I'm a Kluge Scholar at Columbia. Like, I got over $500,000 in scholarships. Like, I am not what you guys are saying I am. Like, what? And
Yeah, she made a video with her accolades, and I was like, holy crap. That's when I knew I am living vicariously through this girl. This girl's everything that I wanted to be and wish that I was when I was her age. $500,000 in scholarship. And I feel like the reason that's not me is because I'm neurodivergent. Like, the ADHD really kicked my ass, and I've accomplished a lot. I have a master's degree. I was like top 1 or 2% of my class. No, I was in the top 1% of my class. I think I was probably top 30. Oh, I had a class of like 700 people. I was a class of 700. So to be in the top 1%, what does that mean? That you have to be number 70? Yo, my math is bad. I don't know. Anyway, please don't quote me on my math. But, yeah, I accomplished a lot, but I didn't accomplish everything I wanted. And because the ADHD kicked my butt, the depression kicked my butt. And then I was socially awkward. I was awkward as hell. I didn't know how to be. People say be yourself. I'm like, how? What does that mean? It took years of effort and hard work to have the level of social fluidity and social awareness that I have today. Like, people think that I am very well spoken and I can communicate effectively and I'm persuasive and charming and all these really nice things. And I was not born that way. I had to work hard. I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars in seminars and coaching and reading books. I would say I spent like 2 decades trying to learn how to be a person in the world. I spent 4 or 5 years as an intense saleswoman, which taught me a lot. So anyway, so because I was socially awkward, because I had ADHD, because I had depression, I wasn't able to do all the things. Did you know there are rich people who will sponsor you to go to college? There are rich people that you can write them a letter, plead your case, and they will give you money for you to use for college. These are all things I didn't know, and I didn't even know how to try to know. And there was no chat GPT to help you then, like to help you write a really good emotionally driven essay to get people to root for you for your scholarships and for there's a lot of help that I would have had now, but also there's just I was born with ADHD. I was just born with this disadvantage. So I had goals up here and I feel like I hit here, which is still above most people, but it's not where I wanted to be. So again, so that's why I'm like, "Ugh, you're everything I wanted to be."
And then the next video I made after that, that one went viral. The next video I made, I wanted to show like you guys, I actually have a job. And then that one went viral. And I think like a week and a half later, I got my first brand deal. And so I kept doing it, but I literally only kept posting to set the record straight. Like it was a mess.
First of all, I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah.
Second of all, I understand where your love of education comes from. Like Obama has this great quote that he says in so many speeches that education is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
And it's so true, but it seems like you understood that at a really young age.
Yeah, well, I always knew that it would be a way. I've never been super entrepreneurial, I guess, and like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go to school, but I'm gonna start some big business. I know like the Michael Rubins of the world, they're like, oh yeah, I've had a business since I was 12. Like, that was not me. And so I
Me
knew if
neither.
I really wanted to give myself access to certain spaces or like just upward social mobility, I would probably just need to go to school. And I enjoyed school, so I was like, that's totally fine. And so if I can get the scholarships to go to the school that I want to, that's gonna be it. And it's
This also might be a cultural thing because as an immigrant, as an African immigrant, education is so important. And they value, I know Vivek Ramaswamy, however you say his last name, he caught a lot of heat for saying this. But it is true in other countries, being the smart kid, being the most educated person in the room is a flex. Whereas in America, seems like nobody cares. Nobody cares, and it's definitely not coded as cool. You're not the cool kid, right? And if you are, then you're Little Miss Perfect. Oh, you're pretty and you're smart. Like this podcast is titled. You're pretty and you're smart and you're popular and you're cool, you're perfect. But you can be cool without being smart in America. It just is what it is. And there's in other countries that's not the case. You cannot be the cool kid and not be smart and not do well in school. And that's how it is. That's how it is where I'm from. So my parents definitely had that energy, and so I also had that energy. And so when I hear people like President Obama say education is a great equalizer, I'm already primed to know that makes sense. I'm already able to imagine, because my family lived through it, being from nothing, being impoverished, but because you have education, you're able to have upward mobility. So it's good to hear that she understood that too.
definitely.
And also, I love learning. Like there was nothing about being uneducated that sounded appealing to me. Why would you not want to know things about the world that you live in?
Worked the way I thought it would.
Wait, so because you run your own business now, like you are the business of Clarke
Yeah.
Peoples. How does that feel?
It's weird, and I when I first graduated from college last year, so not this past May, but the 2023. I remember making a video like, you guys, I have to get a job because this is too much flexibility. I like having something I have to turn into a professor, like to my boss. This is just, I don't know. And then also content has never really been.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. And also, like, I definitely feel her when she was talking about how, like, other self-made people are like, yeah, I've been running a business since I was 12 years old. I never related to that. I didn't have what it took, or the skills, or the know-how, or the knowledge, or the gumption to be an entrepreneur as a kid. And every time I would talk to, like I mentioned before, I would go to seminar after seminar after seminar. And they would always talk about how, yeah, I was an entrepreneur even as a kid. I had the lemonade stand, and that would always make me feel insecure because I'm like, no, I was not that. I would never dream of having a lemonade stand. I would never dream of it. I wouldn't even understand, what do I need money for? I'm a kid. What do I need the money for right now? Like eventually I wanted money because I saw money as freedom. Like I felt like my parents were too overbearing. I felt like you are prohibiting me from doing things and it doesn't make sense to me. Like for example, I wanted to take this elective course in high school where um if you do it, it's just a couple of classes, and if you do it, you're guaranteed a teaching position when you graduate. And my mom was like, "No, you can't do that. You don't aspire to be a teacher. Why would you do that?" And I'm like, why I would do that because you never know what happens in life. And so this seems like a great safety net to secure. Like, I know right now I am able to take this class. So why would I not do something that I know will guarantee me work that I know I will be good at? Why not secure that now? Well, I know that I can do it because I don't know what the future will bring. I don't know what the job market will be like. I don't know what I will be like. My mom refused. Years later, my mom's like, "Oh my God, you should have done that." Like, I had a stint where I was unemployed, and my mom's like, "Oh my God, I wish that you did that." But anyway, just to explain that, I felt like I had valid reasons for wanting freedom from my parents because they did not make sense to me many times. And that is the only reason that I wanted money. But that was when I was like 13. And even then, I was not able to figure out how to be entrepreneurial and do my schoolwork at the same time because I have ADHD.
Like my passion in life. I always thought I was going to be an attorney and go straight to law school. And so it sort of felt like a wrench was thrown in my plans doing the content thing. And I was trying to figure out how to make everything balance. But now I think over the last year, really kind of stepping into creating my own schedule, like figuring out a way that that works for me, and then also being able to travel and do speaking engagements and political stuff. Like it seems like those two interests with the content and legal.
She's literally living my dream. She is living my freaking dream. And I can tell that I can tell she doesn't like posting content because she posts it so infrequently. She is not a frequent poster. She's not like like Alex Earl's posting like 3, 4 times a day, honey. This girl, we're lucky if we get her once every other week. But that what she's doing is my dream, to be a content creator and share her lifestyle and share her thoughts and ideas, but also to be politically active and have political weight and be invited into political spaces that matter. Like literally living my dream, my dream. And you know what? Part of the reason why I wanted to do this live, because the more I talk, the more I get out my feelings and I get out my head and I understand myself more, because I'm trying to make my vision board. And I was just really thinking, like, it is hard. Once you get to a certain age and a certain point in life, it is hard, like I explained, because there aren't any more paths set before you. You make your own path, and that is hard. Um, so I was like, I don't know what I'm putting on my vision board. But the more I'm talking about this, and the more I'm like, I'm living vicariously through her, and I'm so proud of her, and I'm just like, wait a minute. I can still do it. As long as I'm alive, I can still do it. So yeah, I love that she's invited to these political events and this and that, and it's like, I wonder how can I do that? How can I do that? One of my goals in life is to be like a very like useful person. I don't know how to say it. Like I'm taking self-defense class. I'm taking the FEMA cert, where you take a class and they teach you like how to take care of people in emergency, the medical, like emergency survival, etc., etc. I like the concept of being a very aware person and a very useful person, and so that's something that's on my vision board. But then like it does lead into politics. I feel like for her it makes sense. She went to Columbia. She's very associated with the law program, And like, it's like this girl did the things that I wish that I did, that allows her to have the connections to create the career that she has. I don't know how to recreate that as an adult. The closest thing I've come to is I gotta start making posts again. I love being a content creator. It just comes naturally to me. And it's really easy to discredit yourself when something comes naturally to you and you think it's not a big deal, but it actually is. Not everybody can do this. It's very rare that somebody will watch a video of somebody they like and they're enjoying it and they think, let me come on live stream and watch it with the two people who viewed so far and share my thoughts. Like, this is a rare way of thinking that could be put to use, and I should. Mind you, depression will make you to not do things that you know that you should, that you know that you're good at, that you know you want to do. Anyway, I'm blabbing. Let's continue.
Or academic, professional aspirations sort of merged.
I think so too. I saw you at the
This is so
DMC
cool.
and you posted this amazing video in the bathroom
Yeah.
dancing. What song was it?
I think the first one was, oh my goodness, there are these little TikTok mixes that they do to like
Yeah.
political speech. Gosh, the first one was, oh, it was a Kamala Harris quote where she's saying, if someone, sometimes people open the door for you, sometimes they won't, and when they don't, you have to kick the fucking door down. Can I cuss?
Yeah, yeah.
You have to kick the fucking door down.
Make sure to find it.
And so they just did a remix to it, and so I'm like dancing to that. And then the second one was about like Donald Trump being a convicted felon. But I was not expecting those videos to blow up the way that they did. Like just a silly last minute thought before I left the house.
Well, here's my question for you, because a lot of influencers and content creators wouldn't touch that.
Yeah.
You dive headfirst in, and it's part of your brand, but like it could be very divisive. Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, you know, I feel like I never really did because in school I studied like politics and government and
Okay, I found the video she's talking about. I like that. I like that. Like, it's incredible. Look at who she's with in this video. This girl has created an amazing career for herself. But also, I agree. I agree. I made a video about who I voted for this past election. I made a video about how it does not make sense. Why would you vote for Donald Trump? If he wasn't good the first time, why would he be better a second time? And now he's actually worse because I feel like he unintentionally was following the script of the Heritage Foundation, and now he is intentionally following the Heritage Foundation, aka Project 2025. Yes, the thing that he said that he's ever heard of, and now he openly is talking about how he's following their agenda. God, the politics these days is very stress inducing. And I think I do need to make content about it because you don't need to be an expert in the politics. You just have to use your sense in what you see and what you value. And it's very clear to me that just like any other cult, it's very easy to get sucked into a cult, and it's very easy to clinch to your cult and stay, even if you're a very intelligent person. So, yes, there are a lot of people who are speaking about the craziness that's going on because of this administration. Why not another one? Why not another one who's me? Because something that every person who aspires to do content needs to understand right now is that there is no such thing as oversaturation. There's no such thing as oversaturation. Somebody already makes content like what I want to make. Okay, and make it. There are people whose entire platform is merely verbatim copying other people's videos. That is how impossible it is for there to be oversaturation, that people will make their career off of copying somebody else, and both people will still have their careers. Supposed to, especially when we know that the conservatives are better at paying. Look, look, look. Republican Party and Democrat Party both are paying for influencers to say things. The difference, no, I'm going there, but it's okay. Nobody's watching. The difference is the Republicans, when they pay their influencers, they allow them to say whatever they want. You can say whatever you want except A, B, C, D, E, right? Democrats, when they pay their influencers, you cannot say whatever you want. You can only say A, B, C, D, E. Do you see the difference? One side tells you what to say, the other side tells you what not to say. Okay. So because the Democrats are telling the influencers what to say, the Democrats don't know what to tell. It's ineffective. It's ineffective because it's inauthentic, right? It is more authentic to listen to somebody say things passionately that they truly believe, and they just omit other things. That is going to catch fire more, and conservatives have more money to spend on this. Like they have more money, and they value the youth so much that they spend more money on it. Okay, for that reason, we see more conservative talking heads than we see liberal ones. So that is even more reason. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you have sense. Like you're not some conservative evangelical. That is more reason that there should be more of us independent, regular people speaking on these topics, because there is so much of them and they are so funded. I'll get off my soapbox now. Let's continue.
People followed me because they knew I was like pre-law and sort of in that space. So if I had started just making beauty content that was for everyone, I don't know that I would feel like that's something that maybe I should do. Although just knowing myself, I know that I would anyway, because I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to just do whatever I want.
But I'm the same.
Yeah, I think that because my audience knew me for having opinions and like being politically or legally minded, it sort of just seems like a natural progression. So I of course have followers who are like, oh, I don't like this take, like I'm unfollowing you. And I think everyone should do whatever is best for them, curate their For You page and their feeds to, you know, their liking, but I'm not going to stop, you know, speaking about things that are important to me.
First of all, that's a soundbite. I love that. It's true. You're 23. When you see content creators that are 33, 43, do you think that they have a different idea about things like that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the people that I follow are, I don't know, I would say like the content creators I know as well that were mutuals in their 30s, I think that they touch very similar topics, but I also think when you're older, you have, one, I think you're a bit more sure of yourself for sure, and then you have like things you're not willing to compromise on more so than I think when you're younger and you're kind of figuring things out. I think that a lot of creators my same age or like Gen Z, if you're not already making political content, you're probably going to shy away from it because it's like the great unknown. You don't know what's going to happen to your brand deals or whatever else.
Yeah.
And
hold on, pause. Something is wrong with my video. You can't see me. I don't know what happened. Let's see. Video capture. Maybe I won't use OBS again. What's going on? Okay, I'm gonna delete this. I think there should be nothing wrong with my camera. Video capture. Oi. Oi, oi, oi. This is annoying. Okay, maybe I'm not going to use OBS again. Because what was that? And now y'all see we're moving, by the way. You know what? Wait, how do I fix this? Makes it look homier. Okay.
That can be scary. I think if you're older, maybe have a little bit more stability, maybe you're like married and you have a partner who's also supporting you, like whatever, you're not gonna just shy away from things because there's like a fear of maybe not working with a certain beauty brand next month.
When I look at your content, I realize that you are a next generation influencer. Like you are of a different, because I grew up, like my influencers are a decade older, and I see such a difference in how they put out content versus you.
Really?
Do you see it at all?
I mean,
aside from like chuggy fashion.
Yeah, no, I think like that's interesting. I feel like maybe with my generation, we're very candid. Like it's not very dressed up. When I think of a lot of the older influencer, like when I say older, just older than me, but I think about like YouTube, for example, which is a lot of production value goes into it. Like I can't even do YouTube myself because it's so much work, but there's editing and you have like lighting and everything is kind of curated in a way. And I think with me primarily being a TikTok creator, it's like I just kind of turn my phone on and I'm ranting for 5 minutes or whatever, or I'm doing a vlog that's super, maybe a little bit chaotic compared to a YouTube vlog because it's just, hey guys, come with me and like, here's this that I saw. So maybe in that way, a bit of a difference.
How online are you?
I'm honestly not that online, which is crazy.
Really?
I think because when I was in college, I was mostly like studying and in school. And then I think as soon as I graduated, I started traveling so much for work. And so I feel like
she's just actually living life and touching grass. And that's probably how she's able to get work because she's not online. Like she has that natural discipline to like do things in the world.
Always on a brand trip or like speaking. I was just in DC for the week at the Congressional Black Caucus, like ALC week speaking. And so I can't really be online as much. And then I love FaceTiming my family. So I'm like, if I'm not doing something for work or whatever, I'm probably on FaceTime. And so I'm not as online as people might think, but I definitely still get online. And it's probably me as a Gen Zer, like I'm not that online.
She does 4-hour walks. I don't know if it's real. She claims that she every day goes for a walk for 4 hours. Really?
I'm online like 13 hours a day.
Do you ever catch yourself, because I think you're so reflective, so I'm wondering if you catch yourself feeling like, am I enjoying the comments too much? Or are my emotions tied to the internet?
Yeah, I think one thing I always talk about is like, I really appreciate the fact that I derived a lot of my confidence and really knew who I was from like academics and things before becoming a content creator. I think a lot about creators who are really young maybe, who start and they're like 14 or whatever else and they haven't really had the chance to figure out who they are, and now they're being told like, okay, these comments, even if they're positive, like maybe the positive comments are all about their body or their looks and now they think that's like their biggest point of value. Or if people are saying negative things about them, it can probably be really hard, but I'm kind of just like,
she's a grown woman now.
Like, I can't really take too much of it to heart because I've never met you, you've never met me, and that's just life. I don't know.
You show your dating life. Is there anything you won't show?
Yeah, so even with dating, like I never show people's faces, I never say their names. And I think like my kind of rule of thumb, I am an open book, so I want any of my life experiences, if they can help someone else, I'm totally fine with sharing them for that purpose. But if it's something that someone else is involved in, like more intimately, if it's like something that happened with me and another person, I shy away from sharing too much of like the other person's experience perhaps, or anything identifying, just to protect other people's privacy and like respect their wishes to not be online. But for the most part, I mean, I'm okay with answering a lot of things. I'm not ashamed of like anything I've ever done. And so even if it's something that maybe I wouldn't go back and do again, I'm fine with talking about it to help someone else, you know, keep from making that same, I won't say mistake, but maybe misstep.
You know, that's so interesting that you say you're not ashamed, because before we started recording, I was like, you're just so embodied, Clarke. Like I look at you and I'm like, how are you 23? And I'm wondering if maybe that's it. It's that there is no shame.
Maybe.
Not in like you have no shame. Like you hold on to no shame.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I make a lot of very...
Yeah, like she definitely comes off as somebody, and this is how a lot of Ivy League kids who are not legacy But I noticed this in a lot of Ivy League kids that they're either insanely talented and creative, and like when you hear them speak, it's just like, wow, your mind, or they're very embodied in who they are. And that's something I didn't get to have. Again, like I mentioned, the depression, the ADHD, the trauma, I didn't get to feel embodied in who I am until like relatively recently. Until very recently. And part of why I love like thinking about my own childhood and listening to other people's is because I do aspire to have kids one day when I feel like it's the best time. And I just always wonder, like, how am I going to raise my kids? What do I hope for my kids? What do I hope for my kids while they are kids? And how will that support them when they become adults? Like, is on my mind all the time. Like, what can I do for my non-existent imaginary kids? And that's one of them. I pray that when I have kids, I'm able to afford them a lifestyle that lets them be like this when they are 23, that lets them be embodied and secure in themselves and their abilities when they're in their early 20s. You have the most energy, you have the most, if you're like going to college, this is your time when you have the most energy, the most connections, and the most belief, and others have belief in you because people want to pour into you. Adults who couldn't get it done want to pour into you because they see themselves in you and they want to see if you'll get it done. Like, this is a juicy, juicy, juicy time. It's a very juicy time. So most people at that age don't know themselves and they are concerned with or even like me. So it took me into like a whole nother decade to be more secure about myself and to know, okay, what I need for myself. But just imagine being like that and you're in the university. Like, there's so much I can get done. There's so much I can get done. And so many things that when you look back, you'll be so proud of yourself, you know? So that's a blessing.
Calculated decisions, like even small things, I think about them a lot. And so if I do something that, you know, maybe later on in life, I'm like, maybe I wouldn't go back and do that. I always look at it from the framework of like, now I'm just older, like wiser, I know more, but at no point in time did I like do things that would hurt other people, or was I like a mean person or a cruel person. I was always very respectful and like thought about things. So if I now make a different decision with like the new experiences I have, there's nothing to be ashamed about from the past. So, you know, I feel fine with sharing whatever.
Yeah, that's a beautiful take. Like, you didn't hurt, you're not hurting anyone. There are people who being dumb in their youth was them hurting people. You didn't hurt anybody. So yeah, like you live and learn. I mean, that's life. As long as you're not hurting anyone. I love that take.
I want to talk about dating.
Yeah.
Particularly online.
Yeah.
Are you on apps?
I am.
Do you judge men by their photos, or do you read their profile?
Well, I do both, but I judge by both also. I do.
So I don't write anything on my profile.
Really?
I don't, and I think
that's a baller move.
Well, I think it comes off like I don't care, which is not good.
Well, you know, I think it depends on the app. Like for Raya, I think no one puts anything in their bio.
Okay.
Like that's a thing. And then for Bumble, I'm like, you know, there are other prompts you can answer, so fine. And then I guess Hinge, you don't even get a bio, you just have to answer prompts. But yeah, that's an interesting choice.
You probably need to edit my dating app
I
profile.
feel like you probably have personality showing in your photos.
I don't even know. I'm so not an app person.
Yeah.
I'm horrible
You're
at
an
it.
IRL kind of girl.
Yeah, I'm like an energy girl. That's why I'm curious about the photos.
I'm also an energy girl. I couldn't do the apps. And then like back when I was on the apps, I felt like it is putting me in contact with people I would never meet in real life because they just have a value system and lifestyle that does not match mine. So we would never meet and we were not supposed to be together. So I don't know what I would do if I was single right now. I probably would be on the apps, but I would really try not to be on the app. I would be so much more like social. Like I would be doing things to just get me out. What would I do? Yeah, like your 20s is also a time where you are around so many people. You're around so many people. You have so many groups you're a part of, friend groups. There's so many people. As you get older, you get more and more isolated, which is why they tell people to have kids so you don't get isolated. Never minding that, there's some people who they don't isolate themselves. There's some people who they are the life of the party. So they don't have to worry about that. But um like as you get older, you're just in contact with less and less people. Like typically, some people you're a community member of your church and you're just such a important part of the community, you will never be alone. There's people like that. I am not like that. So I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do if I was single, but I do hate the apps. I really do.
with men because it's like sometimes I can feel their energy through the photos, and sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm passing up a good guy because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like whoever's for you.
I'm like, what a waste of time. Like, talking to these guys. I wouldn't be able to talk. I can't chat. Like, chatting feels like I'm 13-year-old on AOL Instant Messenger. I can't chat. Like, meet me in person. Let's get a vibe. Like, oh God, it's just something that's on your mind when it's like that space in my mind could be occupied with something that's more important. Like, Lord. Uh, Heteronormativity is a
Like you're not going to swipe on
Yeah.
the right person. But I think
I agree.
one thing I always look for is like if a guy has all selfies, red flag. I feel like you should be with your friends. Now, this is really hypocritical because all of my pictures are by myself, but I think like that's my job is to take pictures by myself. But before I was a content creator, most of my pictures were like with people around me. So even if you crop them out, I can tell other people were there. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit better, but
That's funny.
no, I judge
Nick
the
Vial
pictures.
came on my podcast with his now wife,
Yeah.
and I had them look at my dating profile, and I never aired it because it was crazy, but they both were like, you have only photos of you. You need photos with friends. Like, it looks like you have no friends.
No, it's something interesting that you really do need photos. I think it just makes it more comfortable for other people, like seeing you around. I mean, even when I date a guy, when I see him around his friends or
Yes.
interact with other people, it makes him more attractive. You know?
And you're right, it's calming. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, on your way to France.
It's just human nature. The social proof. You just want social proof that this is not an insane person.
I think you were on your way to France. You
Yeah.
posted a very chaotic story.
Oh yeah.
You were with a man who was also dating other women, and you found out via social media.
I found out via email. She emailed me on the way to France. Listen, I was on the flight to France. I get an email in the car on my way to the airport, and it's like his name, West Village, like the neighborhood he lives in. And she's like I think we're dating the same guy. This gives me some information. I'm sitting here like, what? The thing that she told a story basically, and it was a short thing just to identify the guy. And I was like, this just happened on like maybe Sunday of like this week. This would have been a Saturday.
Yeah.
Like I was at his house when this happened, and so I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh my god, she was there the same day. Like literally, we deduced after like a couple of emails. There were so many times that we were at his place or with him the exact same day. Like she would leave or I would leave or we would like finish dinner and then crazy.
Okay, so here's what struck me.
Yeah,
You
that's
post this on your
crazy.
story, and you're like kind of laughing.
Yeah.
You're on your way to France. You're like about to sleep or drink some wine, and I think at 33, I'd probably act like that. At 23, I would be on the phone with my mother, all of my friends, crying.
Yeah.
I was not that emotionally sound, but you were
Clarke,
like just
Clarke dates so many people. She has her own rotation, and when you have a rotation as a woman, when a guy does something crazy, it's crazy, but also like you're not devastated because it's not like you were building a future with him. You were just like still figuring him out. So it's not the same.
good riddance to this man.
Well, yeah, because I mean, this is so random. There's a song by Russ, and I can't remember the other person. Maybe Blast is his name, but it's called Fuck Boys. And there's one line in it that I think is like the greatest breakup advice of all time. And it's, girl, who the fuck is he to fuck you up for life? So like, who
Yeah.
is this guy to take you off course? Who is he to ruin your vacation? Like, I've
Exactly.
never felt like a guy holds any more.
Exactly. Like, and I don't think Clarke has had like any guy that she's with, like, it's just not enough invested for it to be like, you know?
value than I do. I'm like, my fun, my academics, my whatever, like my professional life is so much more important than any relationship I've had with you or like whatever. So I can't let you ruin. I'm in the south of France for a week. Like I can't, even when he was messaging me about it, like we ended up talking while I was there and he was texting me, I'm like, dude, I'm on vacation. Like, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like I cannot right now. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people that were like, how are you doing? And I was like, I mean, I'm fine. I have so many opportunities and like blessings. My family's healthy.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited about my life. This guy is.
I mean, that absolutely helps when you have so many options in life. you don't have to like hang everything on a person. It helps. It really helps.
Okay, I hope to have a daughter one day, and I'm going to need to talk to your mother to understand what she did to instill that in you.
Honestly, I think, again, I attribute a lot of it to being in high school and like not being in high school. I didn't get any of my confidence from like guys liking me or what other people thought of me. It was always like, what can I do for myself? And like, I'm in school, I'm working on.
Yeah, I was debating with my husband about this because I'm like, I don't think I would let my kids date in high school. He's like, why? And I'm like, because they need to focus on their studies. He's like, but that's like part of growing up. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, the idea of my teenage son or daughter being consumed because like when you're like into somebody, especially at that age, you're so into them. And I'm like, the thought of them being consumed by another teenager, it just sounds so stupid. It sounds like I'm going to allow my kid to distract their energy from things that matter to like this person who they're not going to remember in 20 years. So I don't know. I'm still debating about it in my head. I don't know. But in general, I don't like the concept of dating before, like, junior year and younger. The concept of dating makes no sense to me. Senior year and above, it makes sense to me.
All these things, I'm getting these scholarships, getting these programs, like that's what's important to me. And so I feel like going
chills.
through life, I feel like, I don't know, it just sort of moving forward through life, I don't place a lot. I also think other people do things that other people are always gonna disappoint you. They're gonna make selfish decisions. And if you, I don't know, read too much into it or like put too much value on that, you're constantly going to be like questioning your self-worth or like upset about things because other people, they're just going to disappoint you. Like the people you love, the people you don't love, like it's just a fact of life. And so it's better to kind of distance yourself from that or figure out who you are as a person before you allow other people to like make that determination for you.
It took me a long time to figure that out. I, at one point, living in LA, was dating this guy named Adam.
Okay.
And it's his real name.
I'm like, is that like a...
It's his real name. And I was so obsessed with him. After our dates, he would call me and be like, I just had the best time with you. Like, I can't even believe that I get to be around you. Like, he was so lovely, and I had never had a guy be like that before.
Yeah.
I was probably like 25. And all of a sudden, he got weird.
Really?
Like, started like being busy. I would call, and he would be like, I'm just like, things are really chaotic right now. I was so deeply hurt by it.
That's what they do.
It had never happened to me before.
Yeah.
So my friend, Julia, who's so funny, was like, oh my God. Like, a year later, she was like, I just got Adam'd. Like, he became like a verb.
Really?
Because we were like, oh, that, like, people weren't talking about ghosting. Like, that was like pretty.
That's so crazy to me.
But
I haven't experienced that, but that's just crazy to me that somebody will put so much effort into showing interest in you and then just ghost. Like, that's crazy to me. Is that what love bombing is? That's just crazy to me. Like, why? What was the point of that?
Since that scenario, I realized everything you just said because I thought it was me.
Yeah.
And really, he had so much stuff going on. His dad was sick. Like, I didn't know any of
Another
this.
thing. Like, how do you teach your kids this dating stuff so they don't get hurt? Like, I would hate for my daughter to feel hurt, for her to get Adam'd and she think it's her when it's like, honey, baby, that's just something that some guys do. Why did they do it, mommy? I don't know. Ask your dad. I have no idea why they would do that, but now you know it's just something they do.
This stuff. Yeah. And it's like, you can never freaking personalize it.
You can't. I always tell people that because I mean, you truly have no idea what someone else is going through.
No
I've
idea.
even like accidentally ghosted. I don't believe in ghosting, but like I've definitely accidentally done it maybe 2 times.
With somebody, this applies to friends. This applies to anybody, anything. You cannot take it personally. Sometimes it is personal. Sometimes it is you. Are they going to tell you? If they're not going to tell you, then it doesn't matter. Like, you just cannot. Most of the time it's not you. Most of the time it's not you, and you just can't take it personal.
And it was always like I had stuff going on in my personal life. Like I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, just whatever. And I don't know, I've like come back in like afterwards and kind of apologized. I'm like, I hope you didn't take that to heart, but like you really can't in the moment because even if you're just giving the person the benefit of the doubt and they're actually just like terrible people, it just helps you, I think, to move through life.
It could be mental health stuff. You never know.
Yeah, you never
know. And I
know.
agree, it helps you. Okay, you've caught men lying plenty of times. Do you ever lie to men?
Not really. I'm like, what's a lie? I don't think so. No, I don't. I mean, because a lot of people think that I don't tell guys that like I date other guys or whatever. Like, no, I mean, I don't.
Tell them. No, that's the advice I have for any young lady watching. Tell them. If you're in a talking stage with a guy, tell him you go on dates with other guys. You're talking to other guys. I highly recommend that you're not sleeping with them. But yeah, tell them. Tell them. It's honest, and in my experience, it kind of puts them on their P's and Q's a little bit. But yeah, tell them.
Like there's not really a reason to lie if you well, there's no reason to ever lie. You should always just be honest. But I think especially when you're just kind of casually dating or like exploring, just having fun, I don't really owe anyone anything except for like common respect and like kindness. But
Exactly. Because you don't owe them. If you're in the talking stage, you guys are not a committed, exclusive relationship. You have to have a discussion for that to be the case. And I also advise people, if you're in the talking stage with somebody, do not assume they're not talking to anyone else, because some people will lie about it or not tell you. Do not ever assume you are exclusive with somebody until they tell you you're exclusive. But yeah, tell them. There's no reason to lie, because again, you don't owe them anything. You are just getting to know each other still.
But yeah, I think I don't really lie.
And if somebody wants to be your boyfriend and it's too soon for you or you're not sure, do you just say, like, I'm still dating other people, I'm not ready?
Yeah, that actually just happened to me recently. It was kind of, it
Yep.
was difficult, but
This happened to me as well. And exactly, I'm not ready and I'm still seeing other people. I'm not ready for that yet. It's really that simple.
I mean, if I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And I think a lot of times as women, sometimes we're like, oh, well, he really likes me and there's nothing, like, he's a good guy, so let me just do it. Let me not pass up. So I remember I was telling a story of like Plain Bay. I called him and he was great and he wanted to be my boyfriend. I was like, oh, I just don't really think that that's like where we are right now. And people were like, I think that you just self-sabotage. Like, I think whatever. And I was
Whoa.
like, why would you say that? Because I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I mean, I think as women, we're expected to always want that. And if someone presents that to you and there's nothing wrong with them, they're a perfectly fine guy, you have to do it. But no,
I agree with you.
that's not my
Perfect.
religion.
Perfect.
Okay, you don't believe in texting with men.
No.
I don't either, but I want to know why you don't.
I think it's just like, I think it creates a false sense of intimacy sometimes if you just like sit and text forever. Like girls will tell me, yeah, well, I'm like talking to this guy, we haven't gone on a date yet. And I'm like, what? How are you talking? Like, what do you mean? We only
Okay,
talk when we're doing this for
that's exactly what I just said. Like, it makes me feel like I'm a child. Like, we're just gonna be messaging each other. We haven't even met. That just sounds like the stupidest waste of time ever.
date is like,
To plan the date.
yeah, what time are we going out?
You and I are busy people.
And like you said, you're an energy person. Like, I
Yes.
can't pick up on your energy from a text message. And
Exactly.
sometimes you pick up on the wrong energy from text messages.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do you ever get on the phone to feel their vibe?
Before a date, no. I'm like, that's so awkward. I don't
Yeah.
even call like my uncle on the phone. I'm gonna like call with a stranger.
I feel like that's the 23-year-old.
Really?
Yeah, because I started being like, I just don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe it's a me issue, but I don't want to go on a date and I know in 2 seconds that this was weird.
Yeah.
So I like love to hop on the phone.
That's real. No, that's real. And I respect that. I
It's
think
not- this is 33. No one does
yeah,
this. Oh my
wait,
god.
what do people do now?
I think they go like this. Like this is the phone.
Oh, that's hilarious. No, I didn't even know that. That's really funny.
Am I a boomer?
This is like holding a brick to your head. They're like, what? This seems like a phone. This just like looks like a phone.
Help.
But no, I get it. Like I totally get the talking first on the phone before a
She's
date. But
Gen Z.
texting
She
a bunch
still
before you
knows
go
what
out,
this
like no.
is.
And to women or girls who feel like that's fine and
Yeah.
they like to do the texting, what do you say?
I say just don't let it go too far. If you like texting, that's totally fine, but you should also like to meet the person like for
Yeah.
real, and then you guys can text as much as you want after that, but feel it out a little bit first, I think. And if you guys live in the same city, there's no reason why you can't get together.
You've had such valuable dating experiences. I'm curious the biggest
Yeah.
lesson you've learned about yourself through dating.
You know, one thing that I have definitely
good
seen before,
question.
I feel like, obviously in dating you learn like more about what you want and what you don't want, but I do think that sometimes I've dated and maybe I've gone through something with someone that kind of made me feel not bad, but like I didn't like it perhaps. And then I've noticed when I've maybe done that to someone else and I think back to how I felt and I'm like, wow, you don't even really know until you're presented with like the same situation and you know, you figure out the way that you act. And so I think it's definitely changed the way that
Yeah, for real.
I move in certain ways, but I don't know if there's like one big, I'm sure there is one that I just can't think of right now, but one big lesson that I sort of learned about myself.
It kind of sounds like the golden rule.
Yeah, honestly,
Okay, the doppelganger phenomenon. Have you heard of this?
I don't know what that is. Like a doppelganger, but a doppelbanger?
Yes.
No.
Okay, the doppelganger originally was when you start dating somebody who looks like you, but the term has evolved. Now it's like when you take on their fashion sense.
Really?
I'm gonna give you some examples.
Okay.
Bella Hadid, major doppelganger, most recently started dating a cowboy and
Yes.
started dressing like a cowgirl.
Okay, yes.
Taylor Swift.
That's funny.
She dressed punk when she was with Calvin Harris, folksy with Joe, and now she's doing kind of like ref girl with Travis.
Yeah.
Kourtney Kardashian is a big offender
Oh, yes. That I see.
with Travis Barker. Okay, Brad Pitt, huge doppelganger.
Really?
Gwyneth Paltrow, he was 90s chic. Jennifer Aniston, he was boho daddy. And now he's giving like rich Italian man, kind of George
That is
Clooney.
so funny.
Yeah, I think I just saw him on the red carpet. Do they have a movie coming out together? Maybe him and George Clooney? Or,
I don't,
okay.
I don't
think
do
so.
that.
They
Yeah.
were there together.
Yeah.
But he's dating an Italian girl, and I'm like, oh, I think she's Italian.
Yeah.
Have you ever doppelbanged?
No, and you know why? This is
can't
funny.
see
I
her
think the
doing
reason
it.
why is a lot of the guys that I date are like a little bit older, and so they're like wearing their suits to go like into the office or like button downs and slacks or whatever, and then casually guilty as charged. But no, I think aside from this outfit, I feel like I don't know a lot of the guys I date. I like a kind of more serious guy,
Cute.
and
Yeah.
so not like I don't ever date creatives or like influencers or fashion guys. Like I
Ooh,
want
that's a
someone, like,
no-no for
serious.
her.
Your stepdad scared you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I don't want no fashion like creatives.
Yeah.
Just more serious.
That's really funny.
Wait, what about you?
Okay, I hate to admit, I think I doppelbang.
I don't blame her. I also wouldn't date a creative like, it's too much creativity for the relationship, I will enjoy your art.
Really?
I dated a guy, but I think it was for the better.
Okay, that's good.
Grew up in Chicago, and I never really thought about fashion. Not that, I mean, there's plenty of fashionable people there, but like it's not at the forefront of the city the way it is in New York and LA. So I just and my family didn't care.
Yeah.
My mom cared a little. Anyways, I moved to LA and I started doing red carpets, and I looked around and I was like, wait, I look horrible. I have to fix this. So I started studying like magazines, and this was like the rise of Instagram.
Okay.
So I started looking online. And then I started dating this guy a few years ago who was super fashionable, and I think he elevated my whole vibe.
Well, that's good, honestly.
Usually it's the opposite.
I was
Women,
gonna say.
he elevated me.
Well, that's okay. So that's an appropriate instance
Kanye
of
West
doppelbanging,
elevated
but I don't know
Kim.
how I feel about that as a phenomenon. I feel like a lot of times men, but there are a lot of fashionable guys, honestly.
There are more now lately.
Like a lot. I feel like maybe through TikTok I'm seeing more of them, but yeah.
Is it important to you?
I mean, I want you to dress like decently. I dated this guy one time who wore a Coogee sweater, like unironically, just to like a date in Bryant Park, and I was like, oh no, this is unacceptable. We wore like a Coogee sweater with like this comically large like New York Yankees hat, and I don't know if it was just too big for his head or what it was, but that was our last date. I literally never know. So it's like kind of important, but only if you're like, it's like you're cosplaying, like you're so far, yeah.
I totally agree. Okay, what's the most romantic thing a man has said to you?
Wow, has said to me.
Like made you melt?
Okay, so the guy that I was talking about, actually Plain Bay, I think he was like the most romantic, like emotionally intelligent guy I dated. I can't remember like one specific thing that he said, but I do remember I went to Paris with my mom. My mom had like always dreamt of going to Paris, and like growing up, she just wasn't able to do that, and then she had me and my brothers. And so we went to France, we came back, and she was in the city with me for a couple of days, and he sent flowers for her and wrote like the sweetest note about this being like her first trip to Paris, and like how incredible it was we were able to go together, because it was like her lifelong dream, and I told him all of that. And I thought that was just the sweetest thing, like to send my mom flowers and have this whole note for her. Like I think I still have it, or she has it, but so sweet.
That is so thoughtful.
Yeah.
One time met a guy in Chicago, and he brought me, Barbara Walters was my like icon mentor. I never got to meet her, but mentor in my mind. And he bought a signed Barbara Walters book off eBay and gave it to me, and then looked at me and was like, I have always wanted to date a beautiful girl, like a really beautiful girl. Like when I was younger, I would look at guys and be like, oh my God, I can't believe he gets to be with her. And then he like looked, and I was like, I thought I was gonna melt onto the floor.
Oh my
God.
God.
It was so sweet.
That is so thoughtful. I think like thoughtful things like that, honestly, they mean so much.
The best.
Yeah.
The best. What's the sweetest thing you've ever done for somebody?
Ooh. Is this like romantic, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me think. The sweetest thing I've ever done for someone. I think I love like really like little gifts, like kind of thoughtful, like just random things. Remember I went on a road trip with an ex, and I put together this whole basket of like all of his favorite things. So it was like, and little things, like we'd gone on another trip, and there was like, we were drinking these prickly pear like cacti drinks or something. So I like found the syrup we used and put that together. I'd like been putting this together for weeks, and like he loved honey deuces, but wasn't able to go to the US Open. So like I hunted down the people at Grey Goose and everywhere to like get canned honey deuces.
Wow.
Put them in the basket, like t-shirts. It was really, really sweet. And so he loved it. And it was just like, just a mix of all of his favorite things, and it was a cute little thing. But I'm like, is that the sweetest thing I've ever done for? That's probably
It's very thoughtful. That's the thoughtfulness you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, you had a recent post about your standards that really took off.
Oh my God. I got like 75,000 new followers from that in like a week.
What?
Crazy.
Oh,
Clarke!
I didn't see
No,
this
like
video.
insane, because someone put it on
What is
Twitter, and
this?
it went even more viral on Twitter than it did on TikTok.
It went bananas.
Crazy.
Okay, I guess, can you share what you said before we start to unpack
Yeah,
it? Because
please.
I want to understand what resonated with people.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, like I talked about earlier, I grew up, like, did not have a lot of money. I had a vision for myself that I outlined, and I really stuck to it. And so now, like, with the life that I'm able to live and the lifestyle I have is something I've always worked for. I really want a partner that matches that same, like, drive,
Yes,
matches the same kind of
absolutely.
lifestyle. And then I also mentioned, like, I know a lot of guys my age are not gonna be able to have what I have just because I got so lucky with content creation. But as long as I see that, you know, you have the same sort of drive or ambition and you want the same life that I ultimately do, that's the kind of person I really want to be with. And oh my God, some people really loved it. I think on TikTok, a lot of people resonated with it. On Twitter, they were like tearing me apart because they're, oh my God, you're so classist and you're so elitist. Like you're talking down on people. Like, so you think that your family is terrible because they were poor. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, somebody called me classist before. Somebody in like that I know in real life. Okay, they called me classist, and I was like, I don't know. Is it technically classist? You know what? Maybe, but I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong. We're talking about somebody that I want to spend my life with. Somebody I want to spend the most intimate aspect of my life every day for the rest of my life with. So, does it matter? You know, I don't know. That's kind of weird. And I don't think what she said is classist, because she acknowledges that she got lucky, so she's able to be at a certain level, but she's expecting somebody to match her value system. The value system that allowed her to get to that level and allowed her to have the luck strike so she can get to that level. She's looking for somebody who has that same value set.
When did I say any of that? Like it was crazy.
Did all
Bro,
the heat
Twitter
bother you,
people
or
are
you were
crazy.
okay?
I don't go on Twitter. Twitter is like the wild, wild west. Twitter is crazy. To get on Twitter, I would never be on Twitter. If you find me on Twitter, you will see that I am rarely ever on. I'm only on there when some crazy stuff is going down and I want to see it in real time. That's when you see me on there.
In your, because you like know and stood in your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, because I was so careful with what I said, and also I'm no stranger to like Twitter and TikTok controversy. Since I started making videos, I've had so many think pieces written about me and like all types of things. So I know that people are going to be one committed to misunderstanding me, and a lot of people too were like, "Oh, she's a sugar baby. Like I wouldn't listen to anything that she says." And so I'm like, "Now you guys are just lying for shits and giggles."
I have to tell you, that would bother me.
Really?
The sugar baby thing would bother me because like you know how hard you've worked, and to be
Yeah.
reduced or deduced to that is, I think, would hurt my soul.
Well, I think because I know how hard I've worked, I'm like, you thinking that means like this much to me because I
Amazing.
know, you know, and also like the people who matter. So, you know, I'm the one being invited to the White House to do these
Right.
things, to go to the Olympics. Like, I don't know what you're up
Right.
to.
Like, this lady is so, she's an energy lady. I can feel that from her. And she's affected by what other people think a lot. Like, a lot. It's very interesting to see, like, the difference in these two women. Because also keep in mind, Clarke is somebody who's got accepted into Ivy League, these scholarships, accepted into this program, that program. Since she was in high school, she's been accepted into these prestigious programs. She's invited every month, invited to like rooms with the movers and the shakers of the world. So yeah, like some rando making a think piece in their bed, not even fully clothed, saying I'm a sugar baby would not mean anything to me either.
But, you know, you saying I'm a sugar baby, it's fine. My bills are still paid at the end of the day and I'm still loving my life. So
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah. Wow. There's this quote my friend told me a while ago: "If you marry for money, you pay for it the rest of your life." What do you think about that?
I think that's a great
Yeah,
quote. 'Cause a
it's
lot
true.
of people were also saying to me like, "Oh yeah, well I mean, she's a liar." Like I know she would date because I said I wouldn't
true.
date outside of like my class or where I'm at, and they're like, she would date a billionaire, which is actually not true. I would not date a billionaire because I've definitely dated guys before who made a lot more than I did. Like now I don't have that experience. Like when I first moved to New York and I was just a college student and working like normal jobs, there's a certain level of
What?
like. I don't
Oh.
like feeling like anyone has anything over me.
Sorry.
And I think when a guy knows that he can give you a life that you can't give yourself, I don't even think that some guys do it intentionally to be like cruel or anything, but like there's a certain level of I can kind of do this, you can't really touch me because I know that if we break up tomorrow, like you're gonna have to go back to some life that you're not gonna like. And so I want whoever.
Yes, unfortunately. When this is specifically like you're trying to date somebody who earns so much more than you. Because it's like, if I just blanket say, don't date billionaires because they treat you a certain way. Well, if you're also a billionaire, they might not treat you that way. You're more of a peer to them. So dating within your class, it makes sense to me. When you date somebody who's so far above your class, yeah, it can make things weird. Which is why, like, when my friends like, "Ugh, you know, your classes, I was classist. I just kind of feel like, but it matters, right? Like finances is a huge aspect of a marriage. So you will have to have a classist type of conversation. But yeah, no, like I've seen that. I understand the experience that she's talking about. When you go too far beyond your fiscal class.
I'm with, the lifestyle we have together is not anything that I can't provide for myself. And I always think this is so random. I always think about Betty and Dan Broderick, if you know that story.
No.
Oh my God, I could literally go
Oh
on
my
forever
gosh,
about
yeah,
it. But
that's another one.
basically,
Yeah, like I would never advise my child, my daughter, to date people who earn so much more than her. Like the class differential needs to, right? The class differential cannot be here. The age differential and the class, but the class differential cannot be this much gap because you are leaving yourself very susceptible. You're putting yourself in a vulnerable position. Right? So when I hear like especially red pillars talk about women are hypergamous, I'm just like, yeah, but and you know it's not wise. Like to a certain extent it's not wise. To a certain extent, to a certain level, it's not wise. And I don't know why, like, that's not the conversation. Like, nobody's picked up on it. Nobody's talking about it. I don't know why.
Tell me.
Betty Broderick, she's in prison right now for killing her husband and his mistress, Dan Broderick. And so they met in college, and he ended up going to like Harvard Law School and like medical school at an Ivy League. Like he was a doctor and a lawyer, and she supported him through everything. Like she stopped working to have kids and take care of him, and then he ends up getting a mistress, like his assistant. He started sleeping with her, and then ends up proposing to her. But like this is after she finds out that he started cheating, and so she brings it to him, and he basically says to her like, she said something like, I don't want you in the house right now, whatever. And he said back to her something along the lines of like, if anyone's leaving this house, like it's you. I pay for your clothes. I pay for this house, like everything. After they've been together for decades, and she had just poured so much into their life together. And I like that story just always, it's so insane to me. And the way that he treated her afterwards was just so terrible. And so that's why I always tell girls like, have your own stuff. Like,
Yeah, let's not forget he also orchestrated it so that she looked like she was crazy and 5150'd her. And had it so nobody would believe anything that she would say. Because he had so much clout and respect in the community. And then she put a to both him and the mistress. Like she actually did go crazy. But like the events prior to that, it was diabolical. Okay? And he could only do that because of the differential.
Like I'm not asking for anything more than what I have, because I don't ever want to be in a situation where you feel like you've given me anything. Like we're equals. I want an equal partnership.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to be treated like an equal in the house too. Like if I don't want you to pay the rent and then I feel like I have to do all the chores or whatever that trade-off is.
Because people even are like, I would never do 50-50 with someone. And I'm like, that conversation is a whole other thing. But I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with building a life with like your partner. And if that means you're going 50-50 on this or 50-50 on the chores, whatever it is. I mean, the percentage thing is so ridiculous because it always ends up being, just variable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I agree. I think if you marry solely for money, you don't marry for the person seeing you as an equal and like really respecting you and your wishes, you will pay for it forever.
I agree.
Yes, you will. Yep.
Okay, hookup culture. You have a take.
I do.
So as a millennial, everyone in this room is probably a millennial and laughing because we all grew up with hookup culture. Like it was actually kind of, it was weird to have a boyfriend or girlfriend or be in a relationship. Like why would you ever do that?
Really?
And I think your generation saw that that was so bad.
Well, I feel like it's really
unhelpful.
big still, maybe in my generation, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, well, also, now I probably
People are
date
gonna
mostly
hook up
millennials, so let me,
forever.
maybe that's warping my view, but I posted a video recently about the fact that like a lot of guys expect you to sleep with them after like a dinner date. And a lot of girls who follow me who are Gen Z, they say like, yeah, well, I feel like guys pressure me into doing things, like wanting to do things because they've, bought me a drink or something. Like it's now an expectation that
crazy.
you're gonna want to be physical after like a first date, which I don't like.
Hate that.
Yeah, because I think if you operate from the standpoint that like not everyone's gonna want to do that and maybe only some people will, you find that like you're not gonna put so many people in really uncomfortable situations. Whereas if you go the opposite route, it very quickly becomes like I'm being pressured into doing something with my body that I don't want to do, and that's like obviously terrible. But if you're like, oh, maybe this will happen, maybe it won't, and then you see what the other person wants to do, it's a much better way to date.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even want to hug.
Yeah, no, I,
Yeah,
don't
like, don't
I hate
touch me.
kissing. This is like so funny. I always say this.
Same.
I
would
keep
never.
my eyes open when I kiss.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
Whenever I talk about this, though, people are like, Clarke, that is
Even when you
insane.
like someone?
Yeah, because I mean, it shouldn't really last that long. I'm like, okay, let's get this over with. Like, wrap it up. You know what I mean?
Some people like to kiss on the first date. I don't. I'm like, don't touch me. I don't even know you.
I know. It's like I think it's a very intimate thing in
Me
many ways, like
too.
kissing and like, especially if you're open, like not just be for real. Like yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
I
I
can't do
respect other people wanting to do that, but I'm like, just keep your tongue in your mouth when you're with me.
Same. I don't even want a VDK. A very
Yeah.
delicate kiss.
That
No,
was
thank you.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
no,
just-
that's a VD.
A VDK. Yeah, I don't want that.
No.
Bye. We can wait.
Right, or even like a little side hugger, like, yeah.
Pat, great to meet you.
Thanks, nice one.
This is why I'm single. Okay, can we talk about race on the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable talking
Yeah,
about it?
yeah.
Okay. When you see creators that you may know or not know have a history of racist tweets or something racist online,
Yeah.
how do you feel?
I think it's interesting. So I posted a video last year. Can I name drop?
Yeah.
Okay, so I posted a video last year about,
Please.
I think their names are London and Olivia. They had like some tweets come out and it was like a huge thing. And I think my take on it is like, I don't know that I feel like it personally hurts me now, but something I think about is the fact that a lot of parents, I think, are not. I think that in other races, especially outside of like being a minority, especially being a black person in America, like a lot of parents don't put enough time and attention into really making sure their children understand race, because it's not something they have to think about every day. So in the video I made, I was talking about the fact that like growing up, my mom made me watch Roots, like the slavery show, and we had to watch all the movies, like every installment, and it was always something that was very important to teach us because it's something we're going to encounter throughout our lives. And on the flip side, I think if you asked a lot of white kids what's Roots, they wouldn't know, like who's Kunta Kinte, they would have no clue. And so it's something that I don't think that black parents in America or Asian parents or Hispanic parents should bear the brunt of like having to teach their kids about race, but they can deal with racism when they encounter it if white kids don't have to be taught how not to be
Yeah,
racist, like what things
definitely.
are insensitive, what things are just downright insane. I mean, to say those things and to think about the fact that like Ruby Bridges is still alive. So she just posted something about Kamala Harris, you know, becoming president, and like John Lewis just recently died, and he, like, I remember seeing him on TV accepting an apology from someone who like beat him on the like Selma Bridge. Like there's a lot of real trauma that still exists today, and a lot of people who are not that old who are fighting for these things. And so to see like 15-year-old kids tweeting like words that were spewed and hatred,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
so
like
crazy to me.
it's crazy. I think a lot of
it makes me feel like when people try to tell me, you know, when I'm in debates, so people aren't racist anymore, America's not racist anymore. I'm like, what are you talking about? The fact that we can find the young Republicans group chat having racism like across the board, like all the minority, all the classics, they're texting each other it means that there is still racism in the home, which means there's still racism with their parents, grandparents, and it's still passing on to the next generation. So it's not gone, it's not over. Yes, we will still talk about it. JD Vance can suck a big one because he's calling it just a joke, and that's not just a joke. And like, I don't know the level of brainwashing he was able to do to himself, because a JD Vance 2 years ago would be able to recognize that it's not appropriate. And I didn't even like JD. I don't like JD. I've never liked JD Vance, but I can recognize that he was at least had a common sense, decent human, some form of decent humanness before he joined this administration.
onus like falls on parents, white parents, understanding that they have a responsibility to teach their children the same way that other parents do. And it's uncomfortable and nobody wants to do it, but if black parents and Hispanic parents and minority parents have to do it, then I mean, you should as well.
I agree with you. I actually haven't heard people talk about the parents' involvement in it, because
Yeah.
we are talking about the person who
Yeah.
was racist and not the parents.
Yeah.
There was a creator named Horace Grant that posted a video that I sent it to every human being I knew. I was so impressed and moved by what he said. It was a long video, but I'm just going to read you a quick quote.
Yeah.
He said, "It's so exhausting to be black on the internet." And I can
Yes,
bleep
it
out her name
is.
because I don't mean to call her out, but I've liked from the beginning, and I wish you guys could feel how frustrating this is. I feel like I'm constantly left out of things because I can't actually engage with the internet the way everyone else does, without lurking fear or lurking confirmation that some influencer
Yes.
that I'm engaging with the way everyone else on the internet is will somehow, some way always have a history that blocks me from being able to simply enjoy social media.
I think that's, oh, was that the
Yep.
end of the quote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
exactly
that is like, he's a mutual of mine, or they're a mutual of mine, yeah. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's like, it's crazy that it's become something that you almost expect. It's like
Yeah.
if you love a creator or just a celebrity,
like,
whoever.
I cannot just watch and enjoy somebody and just like them and feel like I have a heart for them if they're palm colored, because it's now to a point where I expect you have to show and over time prove that something like that won't come out, right? Like, because why would I be a fan of somebody who wants to disparage me just because of how I look, and disparage literally the millions of people in the country, the billions of people in the world who look like me just because we look this way? And like, I cannot engage and consume and enjoy the internet as freely and open-heartedly as a palm colored person can.
It's like inevitable that something is going to come out. And I think even with other protected groups, like if you go back to someone's tweets and they've been homophobic or like transphobic, it's like, God, can we just exist and not have to worry about that like, looming over our heads? Because there are whole.
I would love, can people just exist? You know, like, how can you have a hatred for a whole group of people who they're just existing? You know, it's just such a wild aspect. And as I get older, I just accept it as human nature somehow. But it's so disheartening because especially like somebody like Clarke, myself, on the side of the internet that values intellectualism, it's just so hard to comprehend coming across it. But we do.
The people, you know, straight, white men, whoever, like who don't have to experience that. Like they don't have that looming fear or anything.
How do you deal with it when you see these people later on at like events? Or
I feel like I've not really I don't really go to that many events, and like we were talking about that earlier, but
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know that I've ever really seen anyone after like a scandal blows up or something like in person.
and had to deal with it?
That's
Yeah.
great.
I'm Jewish, and I feel it on the internet all the
Yeah.
time in a different way, obviously. But it's like 1 second I'm watching someone unbox like their new brown suede boots, and then I scroll and it's like, whoa!
Yeah.
I just was trying to enjoy the internet.
Right.
It's a wild thing.
No, it's difficult to navigate. And I think especially now because everyone talks about everything. This is something I love podcasts. Well, love podcasts. I love certain people's podcasts, but I feel like one thing with podcast culture is like now everyone has an opinion on every subject. And I think sometimes people will talk about things and I'm like, you're maybe not the right person to deliver that message. And I think it's I think it's gone to every single like platform. I think people talk about a lot of things and I'm like, oh, that is really insensitive, or like, oh, I don't know if that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that people have sometimes a cultural or like just awareness and understanding to like delve into really sensitive topics. And so when they do, you'll be like, I was literally just looking at brown suede boots and now I'm like, what is this? Like, this is, it's crazy.
I do think when kids are 12 and 13, it's hard to hold them accountable for anything. It's like, it is their parents, it's their schools, it's their environment.
Yeah.
So I'm not angry and hateful towards these people, but I never forget it.
Yeah, I do think part of it is sometimes we allow people to think that certain.
I've been talking with my friend about Doja Cat because she used to go into these palm-colored supremacist chat rooms and like fetishize herself for them. And so every time Doja Cat comes out, like she just recently came out with an album and all the comments were just like, the chat rooms. Like they never forget. They will never forget. I don't forget when
things are like, oh, you're just young and like you're gonna make mistakes and you're whatever. We should operate from a standpoint that like even young people, if you're a teenager or preteen, whatever, like you do have some like agency and you should have some cultural understanding that like things are wrong or whatever. Yeah, some things you shouldn't have to like grow into humanity, like being a kind person. And so, yeah, you're young and like, yes, we understand that they make bad decisions when they're younger, but like, it doesn't always have to be like a super negative, terrible, offensive mistake that you make when you're younger. We can all kind of
Agreed.
Let's leave that. We don't have to do that.
I hear you on that.
Yeah, because somehow the other kids, somehow the whatever minority group they were trying to make fun of, somehow that kid didn't make the same mistake as the kid. Right? So, absolutely.
A little rapid fire?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, one thing every woman should try once.
Ooh. The first thing in my head was being single, but that's because I talk about like the white couch era thing on my page, like existing and being younger and literally any age.
It's crazy to me, like there are women who have never been single. And I'm just like, what? Do you even know who you are?
Just like being single, no kids, no partner, anything, just like to live your life. I think it's such an insane experience.
A travel destination you'd recommend everybody go to and one to skip out on.
Ooh, okay. South of France, one for everyone, and then one to skip out on.
Okay.
God, I feel like every place I've been to has been so amazing. One to skip. That's a hard one,
I heard
honestly.
Egypt.
Maybe like Miami. I feel like everyone wants to go to Miami, and I'm like, it's fun, but like, go somewhere else.
I love Miami. Your go-to New York date spot.
Ooh, I love Bird Dog is a good one.
One thing you will never apologize for.
Being myself.
Yeah.
A book that changed your life. Something you think everybody should read.
Ooh, that's a good one. The Other Westmore or A Long Way Gone by Ishmael Bea.
Okay, grab that card game.
Okay.
Open it up.
This is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's see. Do I just grab anyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
The red one is just the instructions, though.
Oh. Okay,
Sorry.
let's see. I'm gonna try to do like a one in the middle.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm searching all the stuff that she said.
Okay. What do you need help with most right now?
Ooh.
That's a good question. What do I need help with most right now? This is like very not deep, but I think like I feel like I have so many ideas and so many things I want to do right now, and I'm so used to doing everything on my own and like being a perfectionist. I'm sure you can relate. Like in school, I don't like group projects. Like I want to do everything on my own, but you really do have to outsource like a lot of things. Even like with mental health, like sometimes you can't do everything on your own. You need like a therapist. You need to figure things out. And so I think I need like I'm not even in therapy. I need like a therapist. I need like an editor. I need I need everything.
You need a staff.
That
I do.
I
Okay.
knew that.
What is the smartest decision you've ever made, Clarke?
Ooh, I think the smartest decision I've ever made was probably coming to New York for school. Honestly, I think I learned so much. I met so many amazing people, my best friends I met living here. I've been able to date so many different types of people, learn more about other cultures and learn more about myself. And yeah, I think a lot of the opportunities I have now are a result of coming here. And so yeah, that was probably my best decision, was moving here.
It was a bet on yourself.
Yeah, and it's paid off.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Loved it. That was a great interview. And oh God, what's wrong with Eugenia Cooney? It was a great interview. I feel like Clarke is, the way she answered the questions and the way she is like exactly what I expected from her and what I figured. I so relate to her. Again, I'm so proud of her, and it's making me reflect on also the things of my youth that, like I mentioned, there were so many reasons I wasn't able to achieve all the things I wanted to, and she represents like as if a version of me really did achieve everything that I set out to do. And so it's like, well, at my age, why not accomplish it now? Well, obviously I'm not going to go back to like undergrad and like, yeah, let me go to redo undergrad in New York. But at my age, you now make your own path. So how do I do that to accomplish these things so I can reminisce on myself the same way I'm reminiscing on her. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to now I do Spravato treatment and TMS, so I got to get ready for that. Thanks for watching. I saw like 6 people watched. No idea why, but I hope you enjoyed and I hope you subscribed if you vibe. And until next time, much love, much luck.